David was the greatest king Israel had ever known. Warrior, poet, man after God's own heart, and he had one son who would inherit it all. His name was Solomon, and Solomon was about to receive something far more valuable than a throne. He inherited the most powerful kingdom in the ancient world. Gold, land, armies, trade routes, an empire built by his father's blood and sacrifice. Any young king would have been drunk on it. Solomon was not. Before he built, before he traded, before he wrote a single proverb, Solomon did something almost no young man with power ever does. He stopped, he knelt, and he asked for the one thing that would make everything else possible. At Gibeon, God appeared to Solomon in a dream, and he asked one question that has echoed through 3,000 years of history. Ask for whatever you want me to give you. Any answer, anything at all. What would you have said? He didn't ask for long life. He didn't ask for riches. He didn't ask for the destruction of his enemies. He said, I am only a little child and do not know how to carry out my duties. Give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish right from wrong. God's response is one of the most remarkable passages in all of Scripture. Because Solomon asked for wisdom and not wealth, God gave him wisdom and wealth and honor beyond any king before or after. He got everything by asking for the one thing most people overlook. The first test of Solomon's wisdom came immediately. 2 women, 1 baby, each claiming to be the mother. No witnesses, no documents. No way to know the truth. Every court in history would have struggled with this case. Solomon called for a sword. Divide the living child in 2. Give half to one and half to the other. One woman said, do it. The other said, give the child to her. Don't kill him. In that moment, wisdom did what no interrogation could. It revealed the heart. The story spread through all Israel, and every person who heard it understood something that changed how they saw their king. This was not luck. This was not politics. This was something older and deeper than both. This was wisdom from God. Solomon didn't just think about wealth. He built systems that generated it. 30,000 laborers in Lebanon, 70,000 carriers, 80,000 stonecutters. What most people see as the temple, economists recognize as the largest organized labor and logistics operation in the ancient world. He negotiated trade agreements with Hiram of Tyre, cedar and cypress for wheat and olive oil, year after year. These were not gifts, these were contracts. Solomon understood that wealth flows through relationships and that international networks multiply local resources. 7 years. That's how long it took to build what has been called the most magnificent structure in the ancient world. But here's what most people miss. The temple was not Solomon's personal wealth. It was an asset that would draw every nation on earth to his doorstep. Ezion Geber. Most people have never heard of it. But in Solomon's time, it was the launching point of the most profitable naval operation in the ancient world. His fleet sailed to Ophir every 3 years, returning with gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. He didn't just export, he became the middleman for the entire ancient world. Horses from Egypt, chariots from the north, spices from Arabia. Solomon positioned Israel at the intersection of every major trade route in the known world. Geography plus wisdom equals monopoly. The result, 666 talents of gold per year. In today's terms, somewhere between $1 and $3 billion annually. And that was only the direct tribute. It didn't count the merchant trade, the taxes, or the gifts from visiting rulers. She had heard the reports. Every merchant who passed through Jerusalem brought the same story. A king unlike any other. Wisdom that solved the unsolvable. Wealth that defied the imagination. The Queen of Sheba decided she would test it herself. She asked everything she had prepared. Every riddle, every hard question, every test of governance and philosophy she had designed to expose a fraud. Solomon answered every single one. Nothing was too difficult. Nothing left him uncertain. She ran out of questions before he ran out of answers. When she saw his palace, his table, his servants, his officials, his cupbearers, and the burnt offerings he made at the temple, she was overwhelmed. There was no more spirit in her. She told him, "The half was never told me. Your wisdom exceeds the report I heard, 3,000 proverbs, 1,005 songs." Solomon's output was staggering, but the Proverbs were not poetry for poetry's sake. They were a wealth psychology manual disguised as wisdom literature. Every observation about money, work, and character was drawn from watching what actually worked. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer, no ruler. Yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers food at harvest. Solomon watched the world and wrote down what he saw. Laziness leads to poverty, every time, without exception. Honest scales and balances belong to the Lord. Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. Solomon had watched dishonest wealth collapse and patient wealth compound. He wrote it down so we wouldn't have to learn it the hard way. Ecclesiastes is the book most people skip, but it may be Solomon's most important. After all the wisdom, after all the wealth, after building everything a man could build, he sat down and wrote one of the most honest documents in human history, and it begins with a warning. I undertook great projects. I built houses. I planted vineyards. I made gardens and parks. I bought slaves. I amassed silver and gold. I acquired singers. I became greater by far than anyone before me. And then he wrote the words that should stop every ambitious person cold. He wasn't saying wealth is worthless. He was saying wealth without wisdom at its center becomes a trap. The same man who asked for wisdom above all else was warning the world, don't chase what I accumulated, chase what I asked for first. The rest will follow. Here is what Solomon's life actually teaches. Wisdom is not a spiritual shortcut to material success. It is the only foundation on which durable wealth can actually be built. Every system Solomon created, the trade routes, the temple, the fleet, the Proverbs, came from a mind shaped by that first request. The wealth code Solomon left behind is not complicated. Know your purpose before you pursue profit. Build systems, not just income. Protect your character because dishonest gains always unwind. And never let accumulation become the point. Wisdom first. Everything else follows. 3,000 years later, his proverbs still appear in business books, leadership courses, and financial seminars, often without attribution. The wisdom endured, the gold is gone. That tells us everything we need to know about which one was truly the greater asset. You live in Solomon's world more than you realize. You have access to more information than any king in history. More tools, more markets, more reach. The question Solomon's life forces you to answer is the same one he answered at Gibeon. What are you actually asking for? Start where Solomon started. Ask for understanding before you ask for increase. Build systems that work when you rest. Create value that draws others to you rather than chasing others for theirs. And when you build wealth, remember what Ecclesiastes says. It's a tool, not a throne. If this video helped you see Solomon differently, not just as a Bible figure, but as a model for building wealth with wisdom at the center, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to Scripture Wealth Code for more. And if you want to go deeper, the link below takes you to the full wealth psychology framework. See you in the next one.